The following is a special sports presentation of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Bengals Weekly. I'm Dan Horde. He is Dave Lapham. This Sunday, we'll see if the Bengals can get their first win of the year as they host the Arizona Cardinals. Lap, we've got to turn the clock back to Monday night in Pittsburgh. It was a rough night for the Bengals, particularly up front on the offensive line. The Steelers led the NFL in sacks last year, so we know they can get to the quarterback, but 8 sacks and 12 quarterback hits. It was rough.
Yeah, Andy Dalton may have been in the jacuzzi all week here trying to get that body right. He took a lot of shots. The biggest problem the Bengals had, Dan, was not taking advantage of early opportunities. You know, Vigil's forced fumble. You get the ball in the red zone, you don't get a touchdown out of it, settle for a field goal. 3 red zone opportunities, 21 points potentially, you only get 3. 2 of them, a forced fumble on a sack, fumble recovery, lose the ball, interception on 4th and 12. You know, those kind of things. And I've been there. I was on a team that started 0-8. You realize you have no margin for error. And it's hard to go in a game knowing we got to take advantage of every opportunity. So when one goes by, you go, man, we can't afford to do that. You have to get that out of your mind as quickly as possible, or those losses will continue to mount. They need to get a win.
Now time for this week's Clutch Performance. It is brought to you by Bridgestone Tires, clutch performance in the world.
They give it to Samuels, trying to run right to the left. He'll be tackled for a loss.
Nice.
Back at the 13-yard line.
Nick Vigil was involved in that. He came off the edge and got off the block, and he's the one that wrapped him up and took him down.
Time for our weekly conversation with Bengals head coach Zac Taylor. There was a palpable feeling of frustration in the locker room on Monday night, and you want that. You want guys that care. But how do you deal now with making sure that they don't get fragile?
Yeah, that's the key right there. And right now, I still think we got a great locker room, and the guys are going to respond the right way. It's a test of our character, our football character, our character as a man, to see how we respond to this stuff, because that's not the way we envision that game going. It is. We got to own it, and we got to make sure we make the corrections going forward.
There are 6 winless teams. 5 have new head coaches. I know you don't want to make any excuses, but does it take time to implement new systems?
Well, I think we just got to learn how to win. That's the biggest key. And again, we don't want to make excuses, because we feel like we've let some games get away from us that shouldn't have. And so it's on us to make sure that everybody's accountable for how they can perform and how they play and how they coach. And we got to strive to get better.
Since the San Francisco game, teams are pulling out every sideline-to-sideline misdirection play that they have in their playbook. Is there a fundamental flaw in the defense that's making it difficult to stop those plays?
No, I think we're leaving the defense on the field too long. We're putting them in tough field position, and their quarterback, I think, was his first 15 targets were underneath 5 yards. His first 15 completions were under 5 yards, and so the guys are doing the back end. They're covering. We just still got to do a good job tackling when they do throw it underneath, and we got to get the defense off the field. Offense has got to score some points and take the pressure off them.
What can you do to be more productive in the red zone?
Execute the plays and do a better job protecting our quarterback. We put him in 2 spots where he took a sack on a play action and sack fumble there on one of the first drives in the second quarter. And we got to do a better job with the play call and put those guys in better position.
What position group do you think has played the best?
I think there's some groups that are giving us solid play, and that's what we look for right now, is which group is going to step up and respond and be the leaders that we can turn to, and that when things get tough, we know that we can rely on these guys to get this thing turned around. And there's a lot of veterans at a lot of different positions right now that I feel like we can lean on.
The Cardinals come to town with the #1 pick in last year's draft, Kyler Murray at quarterback. How has he done through his first 4 NFL games?
Well, he's a creator. You got to make sure you keep him in the pocket and contain him, because he can create some plays. And I know that they've had a tough start to the season so far, but they're another one of those teams. You watch the tape and you think this is a good team. They can score points and they can get some stops on defense, and we got to be well prepared.
You faced this team in your division the last couple of years with the Rams. Larry Fitzgerald moved into the #2 spot in history in receptions last week. Only Jerry Rice has more catches. What is your respect level for Larry Fitzgerald?
Unbelievable. You know, as a man, first and foremost, you know, the way he treats his coaches and other teammates. And he's just one of those guys that is a great role model for everybody that loves the game. And but then he's a professional on the field. You know, he's willing to get engaged in protections in the run game. You know, he's not just about going and receiving. He blocks as well as any receiver in this league. And he's just one of the all-time greats.
Chandler Jones has had double-digit sacks each of the last 4 years. They added Terrell Suggs this year, and he leads their team in sacks so far this season. It's another formidable pass rush, much like the one you faced on Monday night.
Yeah, they've got two edge guys that really collapse that edge and can get after the passer, and we've got to be well aware of them. Can't let them get off.
Would one win make a huge difference in your opinion?
It would feel good. You know, there's a lot of work that's put in, and we've gone about it the right way. And so it is frustrating when you can't finish it off. And so I know our guys are going to keep putting in the work. I don't see anybody faltering, and I don't see anybody in the corner bickering and complaining, and everyone's manning up right now. And so we're going to earn that win. You know, when it comes, we're going to earn it. It's going to feel good, and we're going to build off of that.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
When we continue, we'll put Zac on the telestrator with Lap as Bengals Weekly returns. Bengals Weekly is brought to you in part by Fifth Third Bank, on the field, in the weight room, and in the community. Fifth Third Bank and the Bengals are driving to better. Learn more about the drive to better at Bengals.com/53. And by McDonald's, the greater Cincinnati area. McDonald's owner-operators are proud sponsors of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Welcome back to Bengals Weekly. Time to gain some football knowledge. And who better to gain football knowledge from than Bengals head coach Zac Taylor? What do you have for us, Coach?
First one here was a 3rd and 5 early in the game. It was the first drive of the game here. And so we're going to run an inside fade to Tyler Eifert. He's matched up here with Mark Barron, so that's a matchup we like.
Right.
We know when the linebacker goes outside on the running back, we got man coverage. Now it's just what type of man coverage do we have? They're playing 2-man with the safety over the top, so he's going to lend presence to these two guys. He's going to play low and inside, and so we're going to end up throwing an inside fade here to Eifert, right there in the blind spot of Mark Barron before the safety can get involved. It's a good throw and catch here. Good execution by those guys. So you can see here, we know we got the matchup. Now Andy sees the safety starting to split, so he knows he's going to have 2-man most likely. Okay, and he does a good job giving Eifert a back shoulder throw that's usually caught about 10 yards down the field in the split between the numbers and the sidelines. Good job by Eifert reacting, good protection up front.
Eifert last year, Coach, when he was on the football field, opposition defenses played nickel every snap. Is he that tough a matchup?
He's a good matchup for us against linebackers, safeties. We feel like that's a one-on-one we should win every time with him.
Yeah.
Here we go, 4th and 1 in the field. You know, as you can see here, this was what we felt like was a critical part in the game. If I can get the score here, it was 3-0. You know, late in the first quarter here. So our defense has done a nice job up to this point. They get a 4th and 1. We put in this pressure for Brandon Wilson. They stem the front. Brandon comes off the edge, and it's one thing to hit the running back in the backfield. It's another thing to make sure that you finish the playoff.
Yep.
And so you see they do a good job. Sam Hubbard comes in there and lends some presence there at the very end. But good job stemming the front. Good job by Brandon coming there, wrapping him up, and make sure he finishes the playoff. Big spot.
Timing of that whole thing was beautiful. The way he came to the line of scrimmage so late like that, didn't declare himself so late. In my opinion, 4th and 1 like that, that's another takeaway. It doesn't go in the takeaway column. Right. But I mean, it's the same thing as if they fumble the football and
it's a sack fumble on 3rd down, so the punt, and so they put us in good position there. And then you look at the goal line here again. This is 7-3 at this moment. So you know it's in the first half. You know we're trying to hold them to a field goal to go down 10-3 and get the ball back and go down and score on offense before the half. So we got a 3rd down here. They're going to run a little tight zone influence play on the backside. We call this hand back. So they're going to try to look like they're running tight zone and then wrap it all the way back. So they're trying to pin everybody, similar to what we did with Mixon last week.
Yep. He's
going to try to get on the edge, and the back's going to try to follow him on the edge. So it's a really good job here by Vigil, keeping his outside arm free, turning that thing back inside, trying to turn it back inside. Their back knows he's trying to get outside. That's where his help is, and good job rallying by everybody. And so end up with a great 3rd down stop there, hold them to a field goal. 10-3. Again, the defense, they were on the field too long in the first half. They did a good job making a stop here.
Yeah, great read. And then, I mean, he's handling wide receivers blocking linebackers. That's a matchup he loves right there.
Yes.
No question. Coach, appreciate the knowledge. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Hey, Bengals fans, it's the McDonald's Pounder Play of the Game, brought to you by the Quarter Pounder and Double Quarter Pounder with cheese. So tackle your toughest appetite and pound one today.
First and 10 Bengals. It's a running play to Joe Mixon. He bursts through the middle of the pack, runs into the secondary, and lo and behold, gains 15 yards.
Had good job up front. Created a running lane for Joe Mixon because the Pittsburgh Steelers are just trying to tee off and pressure the quarterback.
Coming up, Cincinnati native Preston Brown returns to his roots at Northwest High School when Bengals Weekly continues.
Show your Bengals spirit by joining the Who Day Ladies, presented by Kleenex, Kotex, and Cottonelle. Members will receive exclusive club gear, access to special club events, and so much more. For more information and to sign up, visit Bengals.com/ladies.
This week's Drive to Better is presented by Fifth Third Bank, where it pays to Who Day.
Hey, it's Preston Brown. I'm back here at Northwest High School here in Cincinnati, my old stomping grounds. It's great to be back here, see what practice is going on like today, and hopefully we get a good win this weekend.
He was very athletic. He was on both sides of the ball. He played offense and defense, but on defense he excelled and he was very physical. When he played against other people, they definitely knew what kind of athlete he was because he would pretty much dominate them.
My senior year, we started out 3-0. That's probably the most memorable thing I can have. Playing running back and linebacker was fun. I think I had 12 touchdowns? Yeah, 12 touchdowns in 3 weeks.
Well, this is our Northwest Hall of Fame. And actually, here's Preston's plaque right here. It's just a great thing to have somebody that our kids can look up to and that they have an example to set, and they see him on Sundays, which is really cool.
All right, you take advice from people who want to get to where they are, so just listen up. Pretty sure you can learn something from Preston Brown.
Well, I just wanted to come out and talk to y'all for a little bit because right now we really are in the same boat as a football team. I mean, I think we both need a little push to get over that hump. And I think we all can start the season right now and start it over. I mean, the season's never over. We still got games to play, and we can find ways to win big games. And I think it all starts by doing a little extra stuff. If you can do anything possible to get a little bit better this week, it might help us win this game this Friday. So I'm rooting for everybody in this huddle, and I hope you guys are rooting for us on the Bengals. Everybody just keep fighting and keep working the rest of the year.
The really cool thing about Preston is that we don't ever contact him, he comes on his own accord, and the kids get to meet him, and it's just neat that somebody wants to give back to their high school, and that Northwest means a lot to him.
Well, I just want to give you guys this football. So Bengals football, I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to come here and talk to you guys. It's always good to give back where you come from. So any chance I get to help the teachers out, the students out, have my camp here every year, my football camp. So it's just fun being back here in Northwest. So any chance, any opportunity I get to come back, I'm going to always come back.
This season, every time the Bengals complete a drive of 53 or more yards, Fifth Third Bank will donate $530 to student loan relief. Enter for the chance to win at 53.com/Bengals. Time to go back to the telestrator for this week's X's and O's segment, where we take a look at an offensive play and a defensive play from the upcoming opponent, the Cardinals, and we're about to make Bengals Weekly history. Because for the first time ever, I too can telestrate. I can't wait.
Oh, this is going to be dangerous now. There's no question about it. Let's take a look at two offensive weapons. First pick of the draft, Kyler Murray, unbelievable athlete. David Johnson, he can do it all. He can run it, he can catch it. And defending the second part of the play is going to be big here. Johnson is going to help in protection. Clay, the tight end, came over to block on this side of things. It's a little play action pass.
Watch his feet, too.
Check Kyler Murray out, the athleticism. Here he realizes I'm in trouble. This defensive lineman thinks I've got him a beeline, blindside sack. No, not blindside. Peripheral vision. He's going to get out. He's going to spin away from the defensive lineman, Fran Tarkenton-like, and make him frustrated.
Think some taunting is going on there?
David Johnson is saying, all right, I see my quarterback's in trouble. All right, so now I'm going to say, my offensive lineman, nobody's downfield. They're all just still in pass protection. I'm going to make myself an available target and watch the arm angle. He drops down the platform. Look at falling backwards. I mean, he doesn't even have his feet set. He's not transferring his weight. He's not stepping into a throw. Look at the arm strength to deliver the ball like he delivers it. Strike to Johnson, yards after catch. Kyler Murray can beat you with his feet, can beat you with his throwing arm, and he's got some weapons to throw to. They've done a pretty good job there. We've seen this act before in Baltimore. Suggs, length, long arms, long legs. He's a weapon on the edge.
Chandler Jones over there as well.
Yeah, they got a tandem over there. They can get after it. Now, you have to be perfect with your technique. And Decker right here, not too bad on the kick step, but he's going to get a little bit where his shoulder pads are square to the sideline instead of on a 45. And Suggs is going to rip right here, and he puts a chokehold on. It could have been called for holding. I mean, he's up putting the chokehold around his neck. He does a little rip move underneath. There's a soft edge here. He's going to blindside hit the quarterback, force fumble, tomahawk chop. Arizona falls on it. The edge rushers for the Arizona Cardinals combined for 6.5 sacks. Pretty strong on that edge now.
No question about it. All right, time for this week's Bengals trivia question. Unfortunately, last week against the Steelers, Andy Dalton's streak of 16 consecutive games with a touchdown pass came to an end. That leads to this week's question.
And very simple question. What quarterback holds the record for touchdown passes in consecutive games?
He threw touchdown passes in 21 straight. Whew. We'll have the answer when Bengals Weekly returns.
It's time to get to know your Bengals. What is your favorite family recipe?
Favorite family recipe? I'm Haitian. I come from a Haitian family. There's this thing called griot. It's like lamb and then like plantains squeezed together, bun busy.
That's tough. There's a lot of food. I don't want my mom to be mad at me. I would probably say her homemade mac and cheese.
My mom makes a killer flank steak, and that's her signature.
My mom taught me this southern rice recipe. It has sausage, jalapenos, it's red rice.
Fried chicken and macaroni and cheese. And my mom throw it down, so anytime I go home, that's the first thing I ask for.
I mean, Thanksgiving green bean casserole is one of my favorites. Jello pretzel salad, dessert, it's really good too.
It's this cornbread that my aunt makes. It's ridiculous, and I love it. I can literally eat just that.
If we're talking actual food, I like my mom's Monterey chicken. If we're talking just food in general, my grandmother makes the best chocolate cake in the entire world. And it's bad for you, it's really good.
For my birthday, my mother always used to make this Oreo pudding dessert, and I didn't like cake. It was always dirt for my birthday, and that was my #1 thing.
Pork chops. I know a lot of people don't eat that, but rice and gravy, shells and cheese. Don't let me get started. Don't let me get started.
TriHealth is the presenting sponsor of this week's Crucial Catch game. To learn about TriHealth Cancer Institute, go to trihealth.com/cancer. Welcome back. Time to answer this week's Bengals trivia question. Who holds the Bengals record for consecutive games with a touchdown pass?
Outstanding research as always, my man. Jeff Blake Mania. Remember those high arcing big parabola touchdown passes down the field to the 7-foot high jumper, Carl Pickens, and Darnay Scott made some great plays. 21 games from 94 to 95. Jeff Blake throwing touchdown passes.
All right, here's an invitation to join us at the Bengals Pep Rally Show this week. Friday from 3 to 6, we'll be at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Fairfield. Now time for today's Sideline Report. It is brought to you by TriHealth. A.J. Green remains out, and now he will be joined by wide receiver John Ross.
Boy, when you've lost 2 of your top 3 targets, that's tough sledding for sure. But 2 guys that I love their competitive spirit, and they're going to have to do a little bit more. If everybody does a little, nobody has to do a lot. But Tyler Boyd and Auden Tate. Auden Tate is competing just like Tyler Boyd. I think he's living up to the example that Tyler Boyd's setting for him.
All right, it's the Bengals and Cardinals this Sunday. Let's get to Lap's keys to the game.
Keys to the game: pressure, protection. These two football teams have given up the most sacks in the NFL. Arizona's given up the most, 20 sacks. The Bengals have given up 19. That's the bottom. The Bengals, though, have only generated 5. They're minus 14 in the sack ratio now after being minus 8 against Pittsburgh. 8 allowed, not getting in themselves. Minus 14, dead last in the NFL. Second quarter, it's been a tough quarter for both football teams. Cincinnati's been outscored 40-17, been outscored by 23 points. Arizona, 51-12. They've been outscored by 39. So, and the Bengals have given up points in the final 2 minutes of the first half in 27 of their last 36 games. That's mind-boggling. And then the final, second part of the play. You've got Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson, back-to-back weeks. Joysticks, these guys. It's like a video game. Speed and elusiveness, the ability to improvise, extend, create plays with their arms and their legs. When the play breaks down, that's when they get dangerous. You're going to have to really do a good job of defending the second part of the play.
That's going to do it for this week's show. For Lap and our entire crew, I'm Dan Horde. We'll see you next week after the Pigskin Flies at Paul Brown Stadium. Bengals Weekly was brought to you in part by McDonald's. The greater Cincinnati area, McDonald's owner-operators are proud sponsors of the Cincinnati Bengals.